Hello, this is Plot Explained, and today we're covering Mortal Kombat 2. Earthrealm's greatest warriors have been chosen by the Elder Gods to compete in the deadliest tournament ever held. If they lose, Earth will be overrun by the armies of the Outworld Emperor. To guarantee his victory, Emperor Shao Kahn relies on deception, ruthless tactics, and dark magic powerful enough to bring the dead back to life. King Jerrod tells his daughter, Kitana, that if she ever needs help, she must use a special amulet to summon Lord Raiden, the god of thunder. Meanwhile, the king himself must enter Mortal Kombat, the tournament that will decide the fate of their kingdom. Edinia has already lost 9 tournaments to Outworld. This 10th tournament is the final chance to save the realm. King Jerrod must face the Emperor himself, Shao Kahn, in a battle fought before the people in the city square. Shao Kahn wields a massive war hammer, while Jerrod fights with a sword. At first, the Emperor seems to have the upper hand. He smashes the king's statue and shatters Jerrod's sword, but Jerrod refuses to give up. Using his speed and agility, he outmaneuvers his much larger opponent. With a broken blade, he slashes Shao Kahn multiple times and even pierces his hand. Despite the pain, Shao Kahn powers through the attack, traps Jerrod's hands on the broken sword, and brutally severs his fingers. Determined to end the fight, Shao Kahn drives his weapon straight through King Jerrod. Declaring that Edinia now belongs to him, he magically summons a solar eclipse, making his victory even more terrifying. Queen Sindel charges into battle, but Shao Kahn's guards quickly overpower her. The Emperor gives her a simple choice: kneel or die. To protect her people, Sindel submits, the others follow her example. Only young Kitana bravely walks to her father's body, takes the blue ribbon from him, and ties it around her hair. Shao Kahn then declares that from this moment on, Kitana is his daughter.
Kitana, you are my daughter now.
20 years later, an adult Kitana is training in the forest with her loyal bodyguard, Jade. The duel is intense, and Jade gradually gains the advantage, disarming the princess with her staff. But then Kitana removes the blue ribbon from her hair and uses it to catch Jade in a chokehold, turning the fight around. As they head back to the city, their conversation reveals that Jade was originally assigned to protect Kitana while secretly spying on her. However, after spending so many years together, the two have become inseparable friends. Jade presents Kitana with a new weapon, razor-sharp steel fans, perfectly suited to her fighting style. Back in the throne room, Shao Kahn tells his adopted daughter that a new Mortal Kombat tournament is about to begin. It will be the 10th tournament for Earthrealm, and if Outworld wins, his armies will finally be free to invade Earth. To make sure nothing goes wrong, Shao Kahn orders the royal sorcerer, Shang Tsung, to recover Shinnok's amulet, a legendary artifact capable of granting godlike power. Shang Tsung discovers that the amulet was stolen from Raiden's temple by the mercenary Kano. Kitana points out that the amulet requires an enormous amount of energy to activate, making it useless unless they find a way to unlock its true power. Meanwhile, in Earthrealm, Lord Raiden gathers the champions and announces that the tournament is about to begin. However, they are still missing one final fighter. Fortunately, Raiden already has someone in mind. The story then shifts to Johnny Cage, a washed-up action movie star attending a fan convention. After the event, as Johnny is loading his merchandise into his car, Raiden and Sonya suddenly appear behind him. They explain that the Elder Gods have chosen him to fight in Mortal Kombat, but Johnny assumes they're just overenthusiastic fans. To prove they're telling the truth, Raiden opens a lightning portal. Curious, Johnny steps through it with them? They arrive at Raiden's temple, where Johnny meets the other champions Jax, Cole Young, and Liu Kang. He's impressed by their incredible abilities, especially Cole's living armor and Liu Kang's power to control fire.
Kind of feels like bullshit that y'all have these crazy powers and I'm just, incredibly handsome.
But everything changes when Sonya tells him that he was chosen to replace the fallen Kung Lao. The moment Johnny realizes this is a fight to the death, he refuses to take part. He signed up to be an actor, not a warrior risking his life in an ancient tournament. The others remind him that the fate of Earth is at stake, but Johnny refuses to listen. Before leaving, Raiden warned him that the Elder Gods have already made their choice. Sooner or later, he will be forced to fight. Johnny returns to the real world and drowns his worries in a bar. Back in Edinia, the necromancer Quan Chi resurrects Kung Lao and places him under his complete control. Soon after, Kano's body is brought to him as well. Hidden nearby, Kitana and Jade secretly witness the ritual. Quan Chi successfully brings Kano back to life, but unlike Kung Lao, he cannot control the mercenary's mind. Kano is simply too selfish and unpredictable to obey anyone. Quan Chi demands Shinnok's amulet, the artifact Kano stole from Raiden's temple. In return, he promises to restore the Kano lost during his battle with Sonya. At that moment, the Mortal Kombat tournament officially begins. Representing Earthrealm are Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage, who is suddenly pulled straight out of the bar by the tournament's magic. For Outworld, Kitana is teleported into the arena where she is matched against Johnny. Johnny has no intention of fighting. But once Kitana attacks with her razor-sharp steel fans, he has no choice but to defend himself. Even so, Kitana steadily gains the upper hand. Johnny tries to escape across the rooftops, but she catches up to him and knocks him off with a powerful kick. Dazed and barely able to stand, Johnny collapses to the ground. Shao Kahn orders Kitana to finish him, but she refuses. She spares Johnny's life, even though the victory is still awarded to her. Meanwhile, Sonya is teleported into a deadly tower filled with massive spikes that constantly emerge from the floor. Her opponent is Queen Sindel. Sindel's terrifying scream is her greatest weapon, powerful enough to blast Sonya across the arena. Wave after wave of sonic attacks forces Sonya onto the defensive, but Sonya adapts quickly. She dodges Sindel's attacks, counters with a series of powerful strikes, and eventually lands a devastating finishing blow. With one final attack, she impales Sindel on one of the giant spikes, securing Earthrealm's first victory. After returning to Raiden's temple, Sonya learns that Johnny lost his match, but Kitana chose to spare his life. Back in Edinia, Kano is being hunted by Quan Chi. Using dark magic, Quan Chi creates a brand new eye for the mercenary. Once it's implanted, Kano discovers that it can fire powerful energy blasts, making him even more dangerous than before. Meanwhile, Kitana secretly enters an ancient chapel and uses her father's amulet to open a portal to Raiden's temple. She reveals that she has been spying on Shao Kahn for years. Kitana warns the Earthrealm champions that the Emperor is searching for Shinnok's amulet and plans to unlock its immense power. Before leaving, she asks them for one favor: if they encounter Jade during the tournament, spare her if possible. After returning to Edinia, Kitana realizes that Jade has secretly followed her and witnessed everything. Jade confronts her, accusing her of working with Lord Raiden, the enemy of Outworld. Back at Raiden's temple, Raiden informs the champions that the second round of the tournament will consist of 3 more battles. The briefing is suddenly interrupted by the arrival of the resurrected Kung Lao. Completely under Quan Kai's control, he attacks his former allies without hesitation. During the fight, his razor-sharp head slices through Raiden, seriously wounding the God of Thunder. At the same moment, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung teleport into the temple. Their goal is to absorb Raiden's divine lightning and use it to fully charge Shinnok's amulet. Since Sonya, Johnny, and the other Earthrealm fighters have already been teleported to their tournament matches, no one is left to stop the sorcerers. With the amulet finally charged, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung return to Edinia, where they use its power to strengthen Shao Kahn. Meanwhile, Cole Young faces the Emperor himself. Despite Shao Kahn's overwhelming size, Cole initially manages to overwhelm him, landing several powerful attacks. But to his surprise, every wound heals almost instantly. Empowered by Shinnok's amulet, Shao Kahn now possesses an incredible healing factor. The Emperor quickly turns the battle around. He grabs Cole by the head, slams him into the ground, and crushes his skull with a devastating blow from his war hammer. To make sure no trace remains, Shao Kahn throws Cole's body into a pool of acid. Elsewhere, Jax faces Jade in the arena. Remembering Kitana's request, Jax avoids using excessive force. Instead of trying to kill her, he focuses on blocking her attacks with his metal arms and patiently waits for an opening. Eventually, he disarms Jade by taking away her staff. Rather than finishing her, Jax returns the weapon, allowing her to surrender with honor. In another arena, Liu Kang is forced to fight the resurrected Kung Lao. It quickly becomes clear that his former friend is no longer himself. Liu Kang repeatedly tries to reach the real Kung Lao, hoping there's still some humanity left inside him. But Quan Kai's dark magic has completely corrupted his mind. The battle grows even more brutal as Kung Lao turns the arena itself into a deadly trap with his spinning razor hat. At the last second, Liu Kang avoids the attack and redirects his opponent straight into the spinning blade, ending the fight. After the battle, Liu Kang vows that one day he will free Kung Lao's soul from Quan Kai's control. Returning to Raiden's temple, Liu Kang finds the God of Thunder badly wounded and rapidly losing his strength. The champions also realize that Cole never came back from his battle with Shao Kahn. Meanwhile, in Edinia, Quan Chi seals Shinnok's amulet inside a heavily protected chamber. Shao Kahn then gives the necromancer a new command to resurrect one of the greatest warriors ever to exist. Using forbidden dark magic, Quan Chi brings the legendary Bai Han back from the dead. His appearance is completely transformed. Clad in black armor and consumed by darkness, the former Sub-Zero is reborn as the terrifying Noob Saibot. Kitana returns to Raiden's temple and reveals everything she knows about Shinnok's amulet. The Earthrealm champions quickly realize that as long as Shao Kahn possesses the artifact, he is practically invincible. If they want any chance of defeating him, they must infiltrate his castle and destroy the amulet. Fortunately, Kitana knows of a secret entrance, a workers' tunnel used by the Tarkatans. It's one of the few routes into the fortress that is barely guarded. The heroes immediately set out for the Tarkatan lands. As soon as the locals spot the strangers, they rush to warn their leader, Baraka. Liu Kang offers Baraka an alliance. He explains that Shao Kahn has always treated the Tarkatans as little more than disposable servants. If Baraka helps them reach the castle, they can finally overthrow the Emperor, but Baraka isn't convinced. He refuses to believe that such a small group of warriors can defeat Shao Kahn's army. Liu Kang then challenges him to an honorable duel, hoping to earn his respect. Baraka simply laughs and declines, seeing no reason to fight an outsider. That's when Johnny Cage steps forward. With a few well-placed insults, Johnny mocks Baraka's courage until the Tarkatan leader finally loses his patience and accepts the challenge. Baraka chooses Johnny as his opponent, convinced that defeating the famous actor will be easy.
That would bring me immense satisfaction.
Johnny immediately regrets provoking him, but it's already too late. The duel begins. Baraka relentlessly attacks with his razor-sharp arm blades, forcing Johnny to dodge every strike. Things become even worse when Baraka starts launching the blades like deadly projectiles. Johnny is chased across the entire village, desperately diving behind buildings and searching for cover. Eventually, he falls to the ground, losing his sunglasses in the process. Encouraged by Sonya and remembering everything he's been through, Johnny finally stops running. For the first time, he fights with complete confidence. He begins landing clean combinations, dodges Baraka's attacks with perfect timing, and gradually turns the battle around. Finally, Johnny unleashes his signature split punch, dropping the Tarkatan leader to the ground. After recovering, Baraka bursts into laughter instead of anger. Impressed by Johnny's skill and determination, he acknowledges him as a true warrior and agrees to help the Earthrealm champions reach Shao Kahn's castle. Johnny promises Baraka that once Shao Kahn is defeated, he'll personally teach him everything he knows. Keeping his word, Baraka leads the Earthrealm warriors to a secret tunnel leading into the Emperor's castle. After silently eliminating the guards protecting the entrance, he leaves the rest of the mission to them. Meanwhile, as Kitana returns to the chapel, she is confronted by Jade and a squad of guards. Jade has reported her to Shao Kahn, revealing that Kitana has been secretly working with Earthrealm. Kitana is taken before the Emperor and openly admits that she crossed into Earthrealm and helped its champions. As punishment, Shao Kahn orders her to be chained in the city square as a warning to anyone who dares betray him. Inside the castle, the 4 Earthrealm fighters split up to search for Shinnok's amulet. Liu Kang is the first to find it, locked inside a heavily protected magical cage. But before he can reach it, Shao Kahn appears, and intense battle erupts between them. Liu Kang unleashes powerful fire dragons that slam into the Emperor, engulfing him in flames. However, thanks to the power of Shinnok's amulet, every burn heals within seconds. Even so, Liu Kang manages to overpower Shao Kahn, disarms him, and grabs the Emperor's massive war hammer. He tries to use it to smash the cage protecting the amulet. Before he can destroy it, Shao Kahn recovers and knocks Liu Kang unconscious. Just then, Jax arrives and tears the magical cage apart with the incredible strength of his cybernetic arms. Hearing the commotion, Sonya and Johnny rush into the chamber and find Jax fighting Shao Kahn. The Emperor brutally rips off one of Jax's mechanical arms. Sonya immediately joins the battle, but Shao Kahn overwhelms her within moments. While everyone is distracted, Johnny makes a desperate attempt to grab Shinnok's amulet. At the last second, Han, now reborn as Noob Saibot, teleports into the chamber and takes the artifact first. Shao Kahn orders Noob Saibot to protect the amulet while he finishes the battle. With one devastating strike, the Emperor fatally wounds Jax, pinning him to a massive stone pillar with the handle of his war hammer. Suddenly, the arena is engulfed in mystical energy. Liu Kang, Sonya, and Shao Kahn are teleported away. The final battle has begun. Left behind, Johnny suddenly finds himself surrounded by Kano and 3 heavily armed guards. After recognizing Johnny Cage as the famous action star, Kano unexpectedly turns on Shao Kahn's guards and kills them. With the guards gone, Kano offers Johnny an alliance. He admits he's grown tired of life in Outworld and figures saving Earth might actually be more entertaining. Meanwhile, Jade visits the imprisoned Kitana and begs her to ask Shao Kahn for forgiveness. Kitana refuses. She tells Jade that they've been fighting for the wrong side all along. Jade then enters the throne room, where Shang Tsung explains their next objectives. One must eliminate the wounded Raiden, while the other helps protect Shinnok's amulet. After Shang Tsung leaves, Jade secretly activates the true power hidden inside her staff, revealing that she has plans of her own. Back at Raiden's temple, Johnny and Kano return to the badly injured God of Thunder. Kano reveals that Shinnok's amulet has been taken to the Netherrealm, the realm of the dead. Using the last of his remaining strength, Raiden opens a portal and sends them there. They arrive in what appears to be the peaceful garden of Hanzo Hasashi, better known as Scorpion. At first, Scorpion isn't happy to see unexpected visitors. But the moment he learns that Han has been resurrected, everything changes. The peaceful illusion fades away, revealing the true face of the Netherrealm, a dark and endless land of fire and death. Before long, the group encounters Han, now reborn as the terrifying Noob Saibot. His new powers allow him to create powerful shadow clones. While Johnny and Kano battle the shadow duplicate, Scorpion confronts his oldest enemy once again. Noob Saibot constantly teleports across the battlefield, but Scorpion relentlessly pursues him, determined to finish the fight he started long ago. During the battle, the shadow clone captures Kano. Thinking quickly, Kano fires a laser from his cybernetic eye, knocking Shinnok's amulet off Noob Saibot's belt. The artifact nearly falls into the lava below, but Johnny catches it at the very last second. Realizing someone has to stay behind, Kano tells Johnny to run. He throws himself at the enemy to buy more time and falls into the abyss, barely managing to catch himself on the cliff with one of his knives. Meanwhile, in Edinia, Liu Kang and Sonya arrive at the city square, where Kitana remains chained before the crowd. This is where the final battle of the tournament will be decided. Liu Kang and Sonya stand together against the unstoppable Shao Kahn. Despite already fighting countless opponents, the Emperor easily overwhelms Sonya and knocks her out, leaving Liu Kang to face him alone. Before the duel continues, Liu Kang signals the wounded Sonya to free Kitana. The brief distraction costs him dearly. Shao Kahn lands a devastating blow, leaving Liu Kang mortally wounded. With his final breath, Liu Kang reveals that he has finally understood his true destiny. He was never meant to win the tournament. His purpose was to save the fallen champions. His body transforms into a blazing pillar of fire and ascends into the sky. Using a powerful blast, Sonya shatters Kitana's chains, allowing the princess to join the fight. Moments later, Shao Kahn strikes Sonya with his war hammer, knocking her unconscious. Above the battlefield, the tournament's score changes. Earthrealm has lost, while Outworld still has 2 fighters remaining. Shao Kahn proudly congratulates Kitana on their victory. But to everyone's surprise, she declares that she is abandoning Outworld and standing with Earthrealm instead. The Elder Gods recognize her choice, and the score changes once again. Kitana becomes the final warrior chosen to challenge the seemingly invincible Emperor. Meanwhile, in the Netherrealm, Noob Saibot and his shadow clone continue fighting Scorpion. Completely focused on defeating their ancient enemy, they fail to notice that Johnny has escaped with Shinnok's amulet. The Shadow Clone eventually spots Johnny and rushes after him. Rather than surrender the artifact, Johnny leaps from the cliff. He survives the fall but loses consciousness, and the amulet slips from his hands. At last, Scorpion destroys the Shadow Clone with a devastating blast of hellfire. Remembering the true mission, everyone races toward the fallen amulet. Before Noob Saibot can reach it, Jade suddenly appears and fires a powerful energy blast from her staff. Kano climbs back out of the abyss and joins the attack, trapping Noob Saibot in place. A second later, Scorpion unleashes the full power of the Netherrealm's flames. Even with all three warriors attacking together, they still cannot destroy Shinnok's amulet because it remains filled with Raiden's divine power. At the same time, Shang Tsung arrives at Raiden's temple, intending to finish off the weakened god of thunder once and for all. Back in Edinia, the empowered Shao Kahn continues overwhelming Kitana in the final battle. Just then, Johnny regains consciousness. Without hesitation, he charges into the fight and lands his signature flying kick against Shao Kahn. That single strike creates the opening the heroes desperately needed. At that exact moment, Shinnok's amulet is finally destroyed. Noob Saibot falls into the abyss. Raiden instantly regains his divine power. Shao Kahn loses the immortality granted by the artifact. Even so, the Emperor refuses to surrender. Driven by sheer determination, he keeps fighting with everything he has left. Victory is finally within reach. Kitana circles around Shao Kahn, repeatedly slashing him with her razor-sharp steel fans. But even without the amulet, the Emperor proves incredibly resilient. Using the last of his strength, Shao Kahn grabs Kitana by the throat, preparing to finish her once and for all. As Kitana begins to lose consciousness, memories of her father, King Jared, flash through her mind. Inspired by his sacrifice, she finds the strength to keep fighting. She removes the familiar blue ribbon from her hair, breaks free from Shao Kahn's grip, and counters with a chokehold of her own. As the exhausted Emperor weakens, Kitana tears the helmet from his head. Raising her razor-sharp steel fans, she delivers the final, fatal strike, ending Shao Kahn's reign once and for all. The crowd watches in silence. Then, one by one, the people of Edinia kneel before Kitana, recognizing her as their rightful queen. She finally takes her father's throne, with her loyal friend Jade standing beside her as her trusted advisor. Sometime later, the story shifts to the Tarkatan village. Johnny Cage is enthusiastically retelling the entire adventure to a group of children, and Baraka naturally exaggerating his own heroic role in the events. The celebration is interrupted when the surviving Earthrealm champions arrive. They are joined by Kano, who has captured Quan Chi and brought the Necromancer back alive. With Baraka joining the team, the heroes prepare for one final mission. Their next journey will take them into the Netherrealm to rescue the fallen champions and bring them home. And that's where the story comes to an end.